What's up, everybody? This is Josh from Free Indeed, and this is the channel where we talk about what a Christ-centered biblical recovery process looks like. And this is part of a series. This video is a part of a series where we're going to walk through all 12 steps. We have a video on step 0 by itself, and then we're going to group the next few videos into the groups of steps that kind of work together in sequence. So this one's going to be about steps 1 through 3, because steps 1 through 3 are kind of work together. Steps 4 and 5 work together, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, 12. So that's how those are kind of grouped together. So this video is going to be about steps 1 through 3. So here we go. After step 0, after we've made that realization that we have some things that we need to work on and have becoming willing to work at it, then we can move into step 1. And step 1 is that we admitted we were powerless over our problems and that our lives had become unmanageable. So there's a reason why that is step number 1, because it takes some realization. And by the way, these first 3 steps don't involve anybody else besides you and God. So the first 3 steps are all kind of internal things that you work through. And you do have work to do, like through a workbook and with a sponsor, to explain this stuff and to help answer questions. But the actual work done on steps 1 through 3 is between you and God. So it's kind of eases you into the process a little bit. While it's still difficult but simple, it's still simple but difficult to do that. It does give you a little bit of a chance so you're not just thrown in with a bunch of people and doing stuff. So here we go. Step 1, we admitted we were powerless over our problems and that our lives had become unmanageable. So we're going to look at what the 12 steps encompasses. And one of my favorite life verses in the world is Romans 12:2. It's on page 1447 of your recovery Bible. Romans 12:2 says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." So this isn't about behavioral modification. This is about working on your values and the way that you think. And the really cool thing about the way that God designed us is that we are able to change the way that we think. God is able to do that inside of us. So in step 1, we need to identify what's the problem, right? We know what the behavior causes, but what's behind the behavior? What are we hiding? Okay, this is kind of the scary stuff. So alcohol and drugs, or whatever it is, gambling, pornography, shopping, codependency, whatever it is, that's not the problem. Okay? That's what we've come up with as a solution to the problem, which is what got us here in the first place. Okay? So step 1 is about understanding the internal condition, right? That could be anxiety, depression, shame, fear, loneliness, spiritual trauma, physical trauma, emotional trauma. Usually trauma is in the middle of it, but we have to identify what it is, and we have to admit it, and we have to acknowledge that our life is unmanageable. Okay, so that's step 1, is just going through that. And I'm gonna link, or in the description, I will put all the devotionals that have to do with step 1 in your recovery Bible, so you can just flip right to those if you want to start working on step 1. Step 2 is we became to believe that a power greater than ourselves, Jesus Christ, could restore us to sanity. So we have to look at what sanity and insanity looks like. The insanity of addiction is the inability to recognize the truth from what's false. That's why we need God, because our thinking is what got us here, okay? So when we obsess about using or drinking or whatever it is, we're going insane because we're using our own voice to justify what's false. Okay, I'm going to say that again. When we obsess about using or drinking or whatever the addiction is, we are going insane because we're using our own voice to justify something that's false. Okay? You know, you've all heard the phrases, "It's been a long day. I'm stressed out. Well, I've been clean for 30 days, so I could probably do a little bit and manage it." All these are lies that we use to justify so we can go back to that thing that we think is going to fix the problem. But ultimately, it does not. So some of these you can look at. There's the 12 missteps on page 1675 in the very back of your recovery Bible. That's a great place to look at if you are having some trouble maintaining sobriety or working through this step. Step 3, we made a decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. Okay? So 2 things have to happen when you make a decision in step 3. It's more than just the decision. Okay? We need to stop playing God with our lives. If everything would just do what I need them to do, I'd be okay. Well, that's not how it works because we're not in control. God is in control. Okay. So the first step is the decision. The second step is decide to do the work. Okay. Think about it like this. If I decide to clean the litter box out, what if I don't clean the litter box out? I've still made the decision to do it, but what if I don't do it? Well, that thing is going to start stinking and it's going to start being gross and it's going to have to be changed or it's going to be a mess. So that's a really good way to look at step 3. Is step 3, yes, is a decision that's just in your mind, but now you have to prepare yourself for the work that needs to be done because we're going to have to start cleaning some crap out of our litter boxes, okay? We're going to go into that illustration of our lives as a litter box, and we have covered up a lot of turds, all right? And I hate to make a joke about it, but that's kind of what where we're headed here, is our life is a litter box. And if we don't keep it clean and we don't maintain it, that thing's going to start stinking and it's going to be a problem. That's why we're watching these videos. That's why we go to recovery groups. And that's why we've chosen to believe in the 12 steps, because the 12 steps is an act of faith. We don't know what the outcome is of the 12 steps, but we do know that entering into a 12-step program will reduce results because we have faith that God is going to work in our lives through this process. Okay. So again, that's a lot of information, but that's steps 1 through 3. So step 1 is we admitted we're powerless and our lives have become unmanageable. Step 2 is we came to believe that Jesus Christ is the power that's greater than ourselves, that he can restore us to sanity. And step 3 is we made that decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. And we decided that we are going to do the work. Okay. So that's a lot to process. Again, there's going to be a lot of information in the description of this video, and there's going to be another video, more videos coming out that are going to go through the rest of the 12 steps. But this is step 1 through 3. So if you haven't seen step 0, please go watch step 0 first before you watch steps 1 through 3. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Please subscribe, please like, please share, do all those things that you do on YouTube and Facebook, because it helps us reach other people for Jesus and it helps other people change their lives for the good. So hope you have a great time, and please just keep working at your recovery and do something different. See you later.